We are the men of Texaco. We wear the Texaco star. We like to think of...
Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a build update for our Texaco station. What we got going on here is I started putting together some people. I started putting together some more of the shop tools, and I wanted to stop right here and kind of give everybody an idea of where my plans are. But first, for the shop tools, or the shop tools, I am right now using the Shop Tools Garage and Tool Kit, and this is from Fujimi, and I had to look because I couldn't remember who made it. This is the original Shop Tools kit. There is a updated, like a modern Shop Tools kit, but for right now I want to get all the older stuff in here. The other thing we're using is for the people. I'm using the Garage Mechanics figure set from, this is from Testers, and it's also a Fujimi kit. It's Testers Fujimi right on the box. And I want to say thank you because I didn't know that this was both Testers and Fujimi. But if you find the Fujimi kit, it'll be the same people as in this Testers kit. And last but not least, I have, this is going to be David, and he is from the Tamiya's Raleigh Mechanics set. Right now, I'm going to use him out of the set, and we'll probably go from there, but he's the first one I want to take out of that set because he's actually going to be the boss. And as you can see, he's pointing, telling everybody where to go. I know he lost his head. It is over here. I just cleaned it up, and since his head comes off, I decided to leave it off, and I can get the face painted real nice this way. And he also has a ball cap. And we're going to paint that ball cap up with a Grandpa Mark's Hobbies logo somehow. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So let's talk about these figures and how I got them to basically do what I wanted them to do. Basically, David, he was easy because he's just standing there. He's pointing down with one hand to his hip. And I could have left this off, his arm. I could have left it off and then painted everything around it and then added this last, but I really didn't want to have a weird paint line on his shoulder. So I got small enough brushes that we can get in back behind here. Not worried about getting his hand painted blue or anything because I can always silver it back up and then paint it the flesh. So, and I am going to do how I paint my figures video. So stand by for that. It'll be fun, or it'll be the most boring thing you've ever seen in your life, one of the two. So there's David. We have one mechanic bent over, and he's looking in the toolbox. And I really couldn't figure out what I was going to use him for because it's just a weird stance. He could have, here's my workbench from the mechanic set, or the garage and tool set. I could have had him working on the workbench and moved his arms around for that. And I thought, you know what? With all these cars in here, how about if I take him and have him pulling a tool out of the toolbox? And that way I got the rollaway and a reason to have the drawer opened, the drawer left open on the rollaway, and I can put a whole bunch of wrenches in there because good golly do these things come with tools. The top I'm going to leave open. We'll put screwdrivers and stuff in there. It's the kind of stuff that he doesn't use every day. But I wanted to have this drawer open for a reason instead of just having it like a knee buster for somebody to walk around the corner. And now I have an excuse to show off the drawer in this rollaway too. I don't know if I showed you the rollaway since I painted it, but we got it red. I did a dry brushing on that to weather it out using my Panel Master or Weather Master C. I use the gunmetal on the edges and corners where, where you're hitting it with your hands and all that. And I use the oil stain on the Weather Master D for just to dirty it up. This thing's been around as long as he has, and it needed to be dirtied. So let me move him out of the way, and we're just going to slowly run out of things to look at. So next, we have our guy laying on the creeper, and I actually built him piece by piece on the creeper. That way I made sure that his foot was flat on the ground. His other heel came back, and if you look, his head, I'm going to pick them both up, his head is made to where it kind of leans back like he's looking back over the back side of the cushion. And this is his head and the body, torso were all molded together. So it had to go that way. And that means that I had to manipulate this leg to sit flat on the floor. And I got it really close. And then the arms, I just kind of put in there where he's working on something underneath the car. Well, we'll go with that. But he's going to be a blast. I really tried to get him to where I could make him standing up and being like a welder. And I have another set of these that I may cut his leg off here and have it to where one leg's propped up against the wall. So it'd be like this. And he's leaning up against something, working up on the overhead, maybe running a torch or something like that, where this will be the support beam for the lift. And he's just standing up against it, torching away on the car. We can run a torch up. I have the torch set here put together. One side's taped off for the oxygen and acetylene tanks, and I want to spray them individually, so I taped it all off, and it's ready to go paint. So there is our creeper guy. I'm not sure his name yet. I'm kind of thinking his name's going to be Rob, but we'll see how that rolls out. Then we have a guy working on another tire or something up against the car, and I bent this arm up. This arm's going to be holding something, preferably not a can of beer. This arm I have bent up this way to where he's going to be up against something tight, and that hand can be up on a fender or something like that, and him working up underneath something this way, around the corner or whatever. Again, in limited positions with these guys because, his legs had to be put on this way, line the body up, and now his head's already attached, so I can't swivel his head at all. So now it's just like, okay, what can I do with the hands to make it look like he's actually doing something? And we're going to go this way, maybe have it to where, I got a torch running off his hand or a welder. We did have the welder here. That's ready for paint. I'm going to paint that up green. And maybe he'll have the welder and be welding on something and leaning up against it to steady himself off. And that way I can put something with some LEDs behind here in our Arduino and have it flashing to where it looks like he's welding, and then build that curtain out of this green gel screen that I have. I think that's going to look pretty cool. So there's our welder or whatever, not quite sure yet. And again, like I said, I have two sets, so I can build another one to where he's working on a car and another guy's welding or doing whatever. There's options here. So there is that guy. We have our heater ready for paint. There is some cool stuff in this Garage and Mechanics kit from Fujimi. All good. We got one more guy here. Let me move this out of the way. And he is either sleeping on the job or working on something really meticulous, like a donut or a carburetor or something like that. He fits in the chair perfectly. Again, with the torso is bent over and his head is bent this way like he's looking down. There's no other way to do that. So what I did is I figured he's going to be working at the desk, and I glued this arm in to where it's leaning on the desk with the wrist just a little bit off the desk, but the elbow's on for support. And this arm comes around and it's laying on the desk too for support. So he's doing some real tight in work. And the mechanics set has a pair of goggles in it. And since I have 2 sets of bodies, I might use a pair of goggles on him to be like a visor, like I'm wearing right now. But he fit in there really nice. But this chair and this desk are a work of art. But look there's some good detail in this Tester's people. There really are. And the mold lines were pretty easy to get rid of. I have nothing at all bad to say about that, except for the heads are attached. If the heads weren't attached, I could drill a hole down in the neck and hold it with a toothpick or a long skewer or something like that through the neck, and it'd make it a whole lot easier to hold this way and paint. So, but now what I'm going to have to do is I'll drill a hole in through the foot, which is no problem because I would have done that anyhow, just to have them locked into the base where I'm going to use them. And I'll have the toothpick running up inside here where I'll have to hold them by the foot, either that or I'll just do that and hold them this way while I spray them, because I'm going to have denim and he'll have a different color shirt. I want to have them all painted different because I don't want to go uniforms, because if I go uniforms, then I'm going to want to do Grandpa Mark's hobbies across the back, and I'm having enough problems with decals right now. So I think I'm just going to go, different colored shirts, different colored pants. Or since it's the Texaco station, I'll go all gray and like the uniform that they used to wear. Oh, we'll see. But check out, let's start with the desk. This desk is pretty delicate. I mean, really delicate, and it's nicely done. It still shows a little bit of the white where they were attached, but check this out. The drawers will even open. So I can push them in and they'll hold. I can pull them open, and one of these sticks really tight. This one. I can have that drawer open and put stuff inside it, maybe a magazine or whatever. But with him sitting in front of the desk, like this, I might have him tilted off to the side a little bit and leave that drawer open, and maybe put some screwdrivers or something like that in there, and make this like a carb desk. You know how you're working on Rochesters and things like that, 9 million little screws. It'd be nice to have something on a desk instead of the workbench. So since we're done talking about the desk, how about the workbench? Really simple build. All the legs are individual. So you've got to glue the legs in and then this base in and everything all at pretty much the same time. It was a little finicky, but I think it laid down real nice, and it's going to take paint real well. Probably going to go the oak with that, and then maybe a black top or something like that. We'll have to see, but I like that. Definitely going to go with the oak desk. Back in the day, that would have been quarter sawn oak in the guy's office and just beat the snot because, it's an office in a mechanic shop. But it would have been almost artwork the way the desks were built back in the 50s. And it's a little bit earlier than the old steel case desks that, like what I'm using right now, is my hobby desk that I wouldn't trade for the world. Check out the old 4-post seat. Detail like crazy on this. These little tiny wheels, they're separate parts. The 4-poster was one part, then the shaft going up to hold the seat is another part, then the seat, and then the back cushion and the bars going down around the back are a separate piece. And I was thinking, oh, geez, oh, Pete, is that going to be a bear? But believe it or not, it was easy to put together other than these little teeny tiny casters on here. And if you look, I wanted to make sure they were all pointing the same way, like he pulled himself in and that's where it stopped. But those casters were so small that I was holding on to them with my finger, and I cut it off, and I go to put the caster down, and I'm like, well, where'd it go? It literally was gone. It took me 15 minutes to find that this caster, even holding in my hand, when I clipped it, it shot out of my hand that I didn't even notice, and halfway across the work desk over here. And fortunately, my Jaws of Life stopped it. It was right up against that. But it blended in with the old, my old hard work mat, to the point where I couldn't see it. It just disappeared. So I'm moving everything out of the way and finally found it. So I got lucky, or also I'm thinking, how am I going to make one of these casters? And it has to have the casters in order to give him enough height for his feet to hit the ground. So it all had to work out anyhow. So kind of nuts. But look at that's amazing little chair. Y'all saw my one lift. This came from the Texaco station. Nice. I mean, this is this is artwork lift here. So I had that, but this one came from the mechanics set, and I had to try it, just to check things out. It's got some really nice detail on it. I still got to paint it and everything, but I was kind of impressed with it. It has, if I'm going to bring it down a little bit and see, maybe I can stay in focus. There's 2 bars that go up this way that have to be glued together across the center here on this piece. And what those do is they hold the dish on right here, and now that's got to be able to move back and forth. So you have to watch how you're gluing that. Those 2 bars have to be glued all the way through there, but they're not glued to the back right here. So there's a trench running from about here to here on the inside of both of those. And this dang thing, if you're real super careful, and I'm putting my visor down now so I can see, but you can pull this thing into position to where you can have it up or down. So just for the diorama, you're going to have it set up. You're not going to be playing with it. So once it's set up and it's there, it's there. And you can get it set up to wherever you want. And then, I don't know, I'd probably put a little block or something in there to keep it from dropping, and you put the car on there and it'll look good. The jack handle had to be glued in, which I'm disappointed with, because there's no other support across the back. So the jack handle is the only thing that holds the support in, and then this piece has to be free glued into that. It snaps in, and it's real tight. You really got to watch you don't snap this bar off going in there. But it's a real nice looking little floor jack. I can almost hear those metal wheels rattling across that cement right now. So there's our floor jack. It came with a fire extinguisher. And like I said, nothing's painted yet. It's just, everything's just prepped today. I'm going to get it in primer Not primer, but I'm going to get it into Tamiya's paint. This I got to kind of look. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the ones that are silver and then the black and everything, or if I'm going to do this red. I'm not sure yet. Believe it or not, I want to look at the nozzle and everything online just to make sure I'm doing the right one, because some of these are silver, and no matter what, it's going to look great. And then we got two jerry cans that came with it. They went together super nice. The split is right down all the way around here, so it's two halves that go in, but a little bit of sanding makes the caps. How about if I get it in frame? A little bit of sanding makes the caps look really good. The handle looks really good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint one of these red, and I'm going to paint one of these kerosene blue. So we'll see. They might both end up red, depending on how my day is going, and if I feel like changing colors to to paint the two different ones. So there's those, but I am going to have the different colors out anyhow. These little drums, little 5-galloners, are really nice. I don't have the handles on them because I want to paint them first. The tops I don't have on them either because I want to paint the tops white, and then these will be a different color. And then I'll come around and we'll do the ring, probably the white too. So we'll see. These came from the Tamiya kit, or the MRC kit. These are straight out of that kit. So I have decals to go on these too. No, I am wrong. I am sorry. These came from the Garage and Tool kit, and I think they say Mobile on them or Valvoline. I'm not sure. So we're going to have to figure out, that's right, because we're going to have to figure out a way to have these say Texaco. And I think that I have the decals to do them. So we'll have to see. And then we have a couple of the oil cans, the big 1-gallon oil cans. I got 4 of these. They're solid pieces. All I had to do was sand off the mold lines on them. They went really well. And we have our bucket. And the reason why I'm showing you the bucket is because, as of everything else, nothing goes right. And the handle on the bucket is a separate piece, of course. I'll bring that up to you and see if it'll focus. The handle's a separate piece. And when I was cutting it off the sprue, it broke right there. And I'm like, geez, Pete, how am I going to glue that together? And I started thinking about it, and here's what I did. So if this ever happens to you, at least with a part that's flat like this, you can do it too, is I took a piece of extra bare metal foil that I was using, and I made sure it was nice and flat. I laid both of those pieces on there, and I took my Tamiya's extra thin, and I put a drop on it, and it sucked into those. They didn't move because they were on the aluminum, and I just let it sit overnight. And today when I came down, all I had to do was touch it, and this piece was loose. So the glue didn't glue it to the aluminum on the bare metal foil. So I was able to save that piece and glue it on there, because I don't know how the heck I would have tried to glue that little tiny thing, holding it flat and trying to match up the crack on it to put it together. And that's why it's attached to the bucket, because I was going to make that silver with a handle, but now it's going to be all the same. I'll do that all in like a flat aluminum and then dirty it up, put it in a corner somewhere. Spittoon. So there is that. Here's the little handles for the 5-gallon buckets, or 3-gallon oil cans, I guess they would be. And then lastly, and I will let you go, I want to show you the set of metal shelves that came with it. This came with the Garage and Tool kit. And boy, I'll tell you what, it looked like it was going to be a pain in the rump to glue, because all 4 of these are separate pieces. So you had to glue each shelf to all 4 of these shelf braces. And what I ended up doing is I put my old steel ruler on the ground and put the 2 shelf braces up against it and taped them from here, and I taped them here right to the desk so that they couldn't move around. And then I started gluing the shelves straight into it this way, and I let those sit for a minute, and then I came over with these 2 pieces, and I was able to, start from the back on it, and I got this one lined up, and then I moved the shelf back and forth a little bit till that one lined up, and I just worked my way to the top. And then this one went on pretty easy after that. But if you look, that's nice and square and straight. It sits on the ground, solid as a rock, and it was a lot easier to do, just, thinking it through. How am I going to make sure that those 2 are flat this way so they're not out askew this way, and then make them parallel to each other. And I used the lines on my underneath mat to line those up this way, and this to keep them the same length that way. And it worked out really well. It really did. I mean, these are really nice. So something that looked really, really difficult went together real easy. And I'm real happy. Like this thing looked like it was going to be super easy. This is the heater, and I'm going to use this in the office on the Texaco station. But I thought it was going to go together really simple, because this was all molded all the way around it, and the back was open. But boy, I had a hell of a time getting that back to just line up. You can see it's bent a little bit, and it drops in. But that thing did not want to sit flat for me at all. So the stuff that looks like it's going to be super simple, I made harder than it was. But anyhow, with that, I will let you all go. I'll start a video tomorrow on how I paint my people. And like I said, I won't go through every single one of these guys. But when I'm done, you'll know exactly how I do my people. And it's a lot different, I guarantee you, than a lot of other people do. But I get really good results. So stick around for that. I will let you go. We're way longer in this video than I wanted it to be, but I had a whole lot of little stuff to cover. So I'll let you go. We'll be back on the Texaco station soon. Y'all have a great day and a better tomorrow. Thank you for watching.